Hello. Please follow along with the text while I read Fences Act 1, Scene 1, pages 1 through 4. I have already annotated the text, such as notes, character names, details, etc. After reading, please respond to the following in Schoology. 1. How would you describe the setting's mood and atmosphere? 2. What words would you use to describe Troy Maxon's indirect characterization? Because direct characterization is already provided. 3. What words would you use to describe Rose? This you will respond to after we've read Rose's direct characterization again. And you'll see it noted on the text. Thank you, and have a great day. Fences, Act 1, Scene 1. It is 1957. Troy and Bono enter the yard, engaged in conversation. Troy is 53 years old, a large man with thick, heavy hands. It is this largeness that he strives to fill out and make an accommodation with. Together with his blackness, his choices he has made in his life. Of the two men, Bono is obviously the follower. His commitment to their friendship of 30-odd years is rooted in his admiration of Troy's honesty, capacity for hard work, and his strength which Bono seeks to emulate. Emulate means copy. It is Friday night, payday, and the one night of the week the two men engage in a ritual of talk and drink. Troy is usually the most talkative, and at times he can be crude and almost vulgar. Though he is capable of rising to profound heights of expression, the men carry lunch buckets and wear or carry burlap aprons and are dressed in clothes suitable to their jobs as garbage collectors. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that I have already annotated for setting, such as the mood and atmosphere. How does this setting feel? Is it formal, informal? How would you describe it? Characterization is indirect. We're going to have to look for hints and inferences, etc. Also, one final note, which we discussed in class, is I have put a line through the N-word. I will not use the N-word in class when reading out loud from experience working with students in the past. I will also ask that students not use this word as well. Most times I will just say the letter N. I also had former students that chose to use the word ninja instead. And please come to office hours. I would love to share with you why I've chosen not to do that and why I'll continue to ask students not to say that word out loud in class. All right, let's begin. While I am reading, I will not say the character's name, but they've been highlighted so that you can reference where they're at. All right? Troy, you ought to stop that lying. I ain't lying. The N had a watermelon this big. Talking about what watermelon, Mr. Rand? I like to fell out. What watermelon, Mr. Rand? And it's sitting there big as life. What did Mr. Rand say? Ain't said nothing. Figure if the N too dumb to know he carried a watermelon, he wasn't gonna get much sense out of him. Trying to hide that great big old watermelon under his coat, afraid to let the white man see him carry it home. I'm like you. I ain't got no time for them kind of people. Now what he look like getting mad 'cause he sees the man from the union talking to Mr. Rand. He come to me talking about Maxon gonna get us fired. I told him to get away from me with that. He walked away from me calling you a troublemaker. What Mr. Rand say? Ain't said nothing. He told me go down to the commissioner's office next Friday. They called me down there to see them. Well, as long as you got your complaint filed, they can't fire you. That's what one of them white fellows tell me. I ain't worried about them firing me. They gonna fire me 'cause I asked a question? That's all I did. I went to Mr. Rand and asked him, why? Why you got the white men's driving and the colored lifting? Telling him, what's the matter, don't I count? You think only white fellows got sense enough to drive a truck? That ain't no paper job. Hell, anybody can drive a truck. How come you got all whites driving and the colors lifting? He told me, take it to the union. Well, hell, that's what I done. Now they want to come up with a pack of lies? I told Brownie, if the man come and ask him any questions, just tell the truth. It ain't nothing but something they done trumped up on you 'cause you filed a complaint on them. Brownie don't understand nothing. All I want them to do is change the job description. Give everybody a chance to drive the truck. Brownie can't see that. He ain't got that much sense. How come you figure he'd making out with all that gal up at Taylor's? All the time. That Alberta gal? Troy, same as you and me, getting just as much as we is, which is say nothing. It is, huh? I figure you're doing a little better than me, and I ain't saying what I'm doing. Ah, and look here, I know you. If you had got anywhere near the gal, 20 minutes later you'd be looking to tell somebody. And the first one you're gonna tell, that you gonna want to brag to, is gonna be me. I ain't saying that I see where you be eyeing her. I eye all the women. I don't miss nothing. Don't never let nobody tell you Troy Maxon don't eye the women. You been doing more than eyeing her. You done bought her a drink or two. Hell yeah, I bought her a drink. What that mean? I bought you one too. What that mean, 'cause I buy her a drink? I'm just being polite. It's all right to buy her one drink. That's what you call being polite. But when you want to be buying 2 or 3, that's what you call eyeing her. Look here, as long as you known me, you ever known me to chase after women? Hell yeah, long as I done known you. You forgetting I knew you when? Nah, I'm talking about since I've been married to Rose. Oh, not since you've been married to Rose. Now that's the truth there, I can say that. All right then, case closed. I see you be walking up around Alberta's house. You supposed to be at Taylor's, and you be walking up around there. What are you watching where I'm walking for? I ain't watching after you. I seen you walking around there more than once. Hell, you liable to see me walking anywhere. That don't mean nothing 'cause you see me walking around there. Where's she come from anyway? She just kind of showed up one day. Tallahassee. You can look at her and tell she one of them Florida gals. They got some big, healthy women down there. Grow them right up. Out of the ground. Got a little bit of Indian in her. Most of them ends down in Florida got some Indian in them. I don't know about that Indian part, but she damn sure big and healthy. Woman wears some big stockings. Got them great big old legs and hips as wide as the Mississippi River. Legs don't mean nothing. You don't do nothing but push them out of the way. But them hips cushion the ride. Troy, you ain't got no sense. It's the truth, like you riding on good years. All right, so also with their discussion, there was the question about, or you're going to write in the discussion piece, the direct characterization of Rose. You're going to describe her. So please, this is the only description that I'll read, and then it'll go back into the dialogue. Rose enters from the house. She is 10 years younger than Troy. Her devotion to him stems from her recognition of the possibilities of her life without him. A succession of abusive men and their babies. A life of partying and running the street. The church, or aloneness with its attendant pain and frustration. She recognizes Troy's spirit as a fine and illuminating one, and she either ignores or forgives his faults, only some of which she recognizes. Though she doesn't drink, her presence is an integral part of the Friday night rituals. She alternates between the porch and the kitchen, where supper preparations are underway. What you all out here getting into? What you worried about what we getting into for? This is men talk, woman. Would I care what you all talking about? Bono, you gonna stay for supper? No, I thank you, Rose, but Lucille says she cooking up a pot of pig feet. Pig feet? Hell, I'm going home with you. Might even stay the night if you get some pig feet. You got something in there to top them pig feet, Rose? I'm cooking up some chicken. I got some chicken and collard greens. Well, go on back in the house and let me and Bono finish what we was talking about. This is men talk. I got some talk for you later, you know. What kind of talk I mean? You go on and powder it up. Troy Maxon, don't you start that now. All right, please transition back into Schoology and answer the 3 questions in the discussion box.